All right, now on Zero Block 30, we have none other than the Wolf of Wall Street himself, Jordan Belfort. Now, Jordan, people know this is a military show. They might be wondering why you're on the show. You're not exactly, you didn't do any time in the Marines or the Army or anything like that. What brings you to a show like ours?
Well, let me start by saying that I think, like most people, if they're not out of their minds, I have massive respect for anyone that served in the armed forces. And on some level, although that Jack Nicholson speech from A Few Good Men is over the top, it's actually true. I mean, these are the
Yeah.
people that are actually on the front lines providing the banner of freedom which we all live and take for granted. So I have massive respect for anyone in the service. And I think that you guys truly are the unsung heroes. And sometimes the sung, but many of the unsung you don't find out about. And it's awesome. And I think the reason I wanted to come on the podcast is because I've been training salespeople for a long time, many years, 30 years, right? And I've always done really, really well when I go and hire people for my own companies, people with military backgrounds, for whatever reason. I think I know what those reasons are: discipline, commitment, stick-to-itiveness, all the things that are conditioned
detail,
into
that type of
people.
thing.
Yeah, attention to detail, follow through, high standards. Right? I've always done really well. So I started a recruiting company about 6 months ago, and I've been doing really, really well with it. And I noticed that there's like massive unemployment, and meanwhile, I have the ability to find people jobs in the world of sales. And I said, I think the greatest thing I could do here would be to take some of this open inventory of jobs and offer to go to the military and see anybody that wants to be trained in how to become an expert closer, which is a very high paying job. I would waive all my fees for those people out of courtesy to the military. So give scholarships to everyone and just find them awesome jobs. So I thought it was a great fit. And I mentioned this to one on my show last week, and they were like, you should definitely reach out to this to you, because you're the man. And that's, I just, listen, I think that it's ridiculous that, given that you put your time in, you serve the country, when you come out, to not have the ability to be trained in a new career that pays a lot of money, and even to think about that the country's not going to help you find a job is ridiculous to me. So I think it's an awesome thing.
And I think when you approach it that way, your ideas make complete sense, but you can see when I put in your name and you put in the news and it comes up, Jordan Belfort wants to end all payments for unemployment. That's a shocking statement whenever you read it, but hearing your reasoning behind it, it makes sense when you're saying there is jobs out there. People just have to know how to find these jobs.
Well, let me clarify that. I don't believe that. I don't want to end payments for unemployment. What I do think is that whenever you set up a situation where there's these potentially unintended consequences, like if you pay people more money to sit home than if they can go and actually work, that's going to lead to people sitting home and not working. I think anybody that actively is trying to find a job that can't find one should absolutely get unemployment for the long term while they're searching for a job. But I think we both know that there are many people out there that were taking advantage of the fact that you can make more money being paid by the government versus going and finding a job. So they're two very different things. And I want to be very clear here that I think that people that are actively trying to find jobs that can't, of course, you'd want to help those people out and give them the resources and the money they need to sustain them through a difficult time. But that's very different than people choosing to not work because they can make more sitting home watching TV than going out and busting their ass. So I think there's very different things.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And when you're looking at somebody, we get the veteran question constantly. We have so many people that reach out to us. How did you end up in your job in media? How did you end up here or there? With somebody that wants to get into a sales or a business role like yours, you have a veteran that's getting out of the military. He approaches your organization and says, help me out. What are some of the initial things that they would need to do in order to be involved?
Well, so what I do, I do something very different than other agencies that find people jobs. I actually train the people before I deliver them to a company. So I would actually train them in the job they're going to do. Now, normally I charge money for that to the candidate. In this case, I would not. I waive all the fees because of the military service. They deserve to get the training for free and a scholarship. So what's happening is, listen, sales is a really high paid job. It is not for everybody. It's not. Some people don't want to do it. They won't enjoy themselves. But I would say if you believe that this is something that you could see yourself doing, you enjoy it, I'm here to tell you that don't worry if you don't know how to sell. I'm happily will train you for free and give you a myriad of opportunities at different companies, all that pay really strong base salaries and give you big commissions on top, and at least offer you the opportunity. Whether or not you take it, that's up to you. But I think the opportunity should be given to everyone that served in the military.
And do you have a certain personality that you go through? Because like my personality, very bombastic, in your face, ready to go. And then you have some veterans that'll get out there a lot more quiet, and they don't want to talk a whole lot. They're going to be a little bit more stoic. Do you have a certain personality trait that you're like, this is the type that I want for my salesman?
Different personality traits do well at different types of sales jobs. For example, some people are really good at opening up new accounts. They're really great at, they love to cold call. They want to knock on doors. Like for instance, door knocking is like one of the jobs people hate.
Man. No,
but in the military, you find veterans, by the way, they will go out and like, this is a cakewalk knocking on doors. Like they outperform everybody else in those type of outside sales jobs, because for them, it's a duck walk for them, right?
Right.
So,
what's the worst thing? You're going to get yelled at? That's happened a million times.
Please, right. You're like, oh, yeah, slam the door in face. Have a nice day, right? They don't care.
Right.
So the thing is, though, is that, different types of sales jobs for different people. Some people enjoy that. Others would rather have an existing account and be someone that develops that relationship for the long term, which requires more of a quieter, less in your face type of person. So there's jobs for everybody, and it's really more about your personal standards. And that's why the military people do so well. If you have high standards, because you have to be a self-starter and you have to hold yourself accountable when it comes to selling. All right. If you don't, it's just not, you're in the wrong profession. If you look at the punch a clock and get a paycheck without any upside, it's probably not the right job for you. But I find people from the military, they have really high standards. And that is always the long-term indicator of success. Talent, you can teach people to sell. That's the easy part for me. It's having people that are willing to go out there. And I always say with all matters of success, so much of being a successful adult is the ability to get yourself to do the things that you have to do every day, even when you don't feel like doing them. And that's what they teach you in the military. That's a huge predeterminer for success in all things, not just sales.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think when I'm talking to your team and just getting you on the pod, you could see that type of work ethic that you're talking about, you see it in you still, like traveling overseas to Asia, in California, back in Texas. So there's got to be almost a no excuses type approach to your school and your scholarships as well. I would imagine somebody getting out, you get out of the Marine Corps. That's the only thing I can really speak to because I'm a Marine. The last thing I wanted right away would be a teacher that's kind of in my face. I wanted to take a little bit of a break like that. What's the general attitude around your scholarship program?
Yeah, well, it's about self-empowerment. Listen, we give people the skills they need in a very fun, team. It's a very team-like spirit, but it's not the yelling in your face. It doesn't work in the business world,
right?
Especially in the sensitive 2020s. All you get is lawsuits, right? No, but I mean, listen, we have diversified classes. I always say I'm a racist for sure. I'm very racist. I hate two races: lazy people and stupid people. Everybody else I love. Okay, so those are my racist qualities of stupid people and lazy people. So we have very diversified men, women, black, white, you name it. We're like, I don't care. I just want people that are willing to put in the effort for themselves. If you're willing to put the effort in, one thing I can promise you when it comes to the world of selling, if you're trained properly and you work at a good company, and there are many good companies out there looking for hardworking people, you'll make a lot of money and have a career that will lead you into management and something you can really be proud of. And I think that, again, not for everybody, but I think there's a very, very large proportion of people that are exiting out of the military would be really, really, would be doing themselves a favor, even if they didn't even, by the way, even if they only were in the sales world for a short time, but the skills that you learn in terms of just human communication, the ability to explain your thoughts, ideas, hopes, and dreams, the ability to negotiate effectively, to be able to, ask for a raise when you have to ask for a raise, to be able to just, communicate. It's such a powerful skill to possess. So I think everyone should have it. It's almost like it's a required course in my book, that I couldn't imagine trying to move through the world in an empowered way without being able to get my point across to other people.
Right. And One more question, because there's thousands of different jobs, companies looking to hire veterans and train them up and put them in job placement programs. But we've found over the years that primarily the ones that they're really targeting are the officers that get out. They already have a college education. They've had the experience of leading people. That's a no-brainer for companies to have. Do you look at the enlisted side, somebody that might not be college educated, doesn't have that pedigree behind them? Do you look at somebody without a degree program and like, yes, I want them too?
That's exactly who I want. I don't want I mean, listen, I'm happy to help train the officers as well, but I'm looking for the enlisted person, the average guy that's done 4 years or 6 years, whatever he's done, and he or she's put their time and effort into it. Now they're ready to go out there and, provide for themselves, their families, and go out there and deliver value and learn the skill sets that are required to become a great closer. And I'll tell you, I would as many people as you can find that are enlisted, just enlisted, no college education required. I'll give them the real world skills, and I'm honored to be able to do that on a scholarship without any money. It won't cost them a penny.
Well, that's a huge majority of our audience. So I think that your inbox is going to be flooded. Because if I didn't have this job, honestly, I hear you. I'm riding around on the base. I'm running. I'm working out at the gym, and I listen to this, and I know I have to transition. We've all seen the movie. We know the lifestyle that you've led. We know the lifestyle that you're leading now. Everybody wants some money in their pocket, but figuring that way out, it really can seem daunting. When I got out and retired, I had my retirement set up. I knew I was going back to school. I had no idea the steps to take. The only job I had ever really applied for was the Marine Corps, and that was just filling out an application, essentially. I had never done a resume. I had never done any of that stuff. I had no idea where to start, and the way that they teach you when you're getting out is absolute trash. So if I'm sitting here listening, what do they teach you? They teach you basically what not to put on your resume. And it's really, there's a guy named Matt Sergeant Colbert who got out of the Marine Corps. He's one of the main focuses of the HBO miniseries Generation Kill. And he did an interview recently where I thought he was spot on. He spent 26 years in the Marine Corps. And he said, for 26 years, they taught me how to be lethal. They taught me how to be a Marine. And then for 10 days, whenever I was done, they decided to teach me what to do when I got out. And I think that that's exactly right. That's where we're at. We spend years learning our craft. And then when you get out, you look at it and nobody wants to hear about your craft. What can you do for me now? What you did in your craft, I don't understand it. I don't know it. I don't know how that applies to this job that I have. And applying those techniques is something that most folks, when they get out, they don't know.
See, the true beauty of this is I believe that those techniques, the things that people have learned during those 4 or whatever years they were as enlisted men and women, are the exact skill sets they need to succeed in the world of selling, because so much of it is mindset. Mm-hmm. It's the ability, I'll say it again, it's the ability to get yourself to do the things that you know you have to do day in and day out that you might not enjoy, but what you can do very quickly is say, wait a second, I enjoy the other side, which is that, because in selling, this part of it is finding the right people to sell to. There's some canvassing involved in most sales jobs. But then also, once you get in front of someone, it's really nice, the interaction, and you really learn how to influence and persuade in an ethical way. And we really teach a very powerful but ethical persuasion system called the straight line that anyone can learn. And the money, I mean, I have people that, the first few months they're making $15,000 plus a month or more in base salary plus commission. That's not everybody, but they all the jobs have significant base salaries, or at least draws against the commissions, and it gives people. And plus, I'm there. I also coach them for 3 months after they get placed at a company. That's free as well. So they're getting coaching, both inner game mindset coaching and skills coaching. So you're joining a network of people that really want nothing but the best for you. And I make my money from the company. That's from the company side that they pay me. So it's a win-win for everybody. They're looking for great, dedicated salespeople. They want to pay for it. And I have the ability to train people and make them lethal in the world of sales. So if they're lethal,
now you're mindset wise, that's what they want: lethality in sales.
I can make them lethal in sales. I used to say my old thing is like, it's like, the straight line system. It's like, in my metaphor, Leo uses it in the movie. He goes, you're like a Marine with an M16. Right. That's a lethal weapon, right, in the hands of a trained Marine. right? Well, guess what? Straight line sales is lethal in the hands of a trained person, but you're not hurting people. You're actually helping them get what they need and making a ton of money in the process. And the great part is, I think also just, I think one of the issues a lot of people coming out of the military face is like this sort of like a sense of purpose. Like you had this high purpose you were serving. Well, you know what? This is something that's really, it's like your own. It's like your own. You get that same entrepreneurial feeling, even though you have a job with a salary. You still feel somewhat like it's like your own thing, and you can really grow with it. And many people end up going into management very quickly and starting their own businesses, or just being in sales. But one thing I can assure anybody listening is if you want to put the work in, I promise you, I will not stop training you until you succeed. I don't care if you fail at the first 2 jobs, I'll place you with a 3rd job. As long as you're willing to do the work, I will continue to train you, place you free. You'll never have to pay me a penny if you serve in the military. That's my commitment to you, anybody listening.
And if they want to sign up, where do they go? Is it a physical building? Is it online?
Go to my website. Go to my website, jordanbelfort.com, and you'll see a thing called Straight Line Hiring. And just put your information in, and someone will call you very quickly, and we will get you sorted out. Doesn't matter where you live. We have jobs available in every state. People are looking for salespeople who are willing to work hard. It's one of those jobs that will always be there, even in bad economies, and it's there in good economies. And the military, in my mind, deserve the shot to go first. So I put them above anybody else. If I had 4 people for a job, I put the military people ahead of everybody else. I would.
And whenever they're going for it, would they have to move somewhere else, or could they stay where they're at and do your training?
They could do both. They could do both. No, the training is all done virtually now. Okay. It's interesting. I had a limiting belief myself. I didn't think it was possible till COVID hit, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, everyone, you learn how to do things virtually. So no, you could do the. And
now we don't want to go back to some of the other shit that we're going. Exactly. If I ever have to go to a place and pick up my groceries again and like pick them out, I'll freak out.
Tell me about it. Right, exactly. I know it's weird, right? You get to this point now where and I see it with jobs. If I am posting a job and many of the jobs are work from home, by the way, because people now can work out of their house because technology is at the level where you can be just as productive there. People will line up for those jobs and say, wait, I got to go to an office? I don't know about that, right. But we have both. We have jobs for virtual. We have jobs for out in the field. We have jobs based on the phone. We have jobs in offices. So everything is there all over the country. And what all it's about is people willing to work hard and learn. And that's high standards. If that's you and you want to make a lot of money, this is a call. At least all you got to do is at least check it out. If it's not for you, it's not for you, but at least check it out. You won't be pressured into doing anything other than I'm happy to educate you for free at worst.
There you go. Jordan, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. I hope a lot of the listeners take you up on it. I sure would if I didn't have my dream job. Thanks, Jordan.
Guys, take care. Good luck. Bye-bye.